Hey, what's going on? This is StormMakerX, and you're watching the Mask of Kallig number 4. And this video, I'll go ahead and show you the current transition from video number 3, and show you what all I've already done to this mask, and what I plan to do from this point. So, let's go ahead and get a little bit closer, closer look and all. As you can see, I was able to sand down quite a bit of the mask and have almost gotten it down to the resin itself, which is what we need in order actually to apply the primer. And I got quite a bit. Now there are a few areas I just could not get with my palm sander, and even with my hand here, it's just, where it's located. But it's not too bad. I did get what I could. Now there are a few imperfections I'm going to have to work on. It's just part of it. Like right here, I got a little too close to what I was trying to work on when I was trying to chisel this out. So I'm going to have to put more Bondo on that and get it to work. There's a few tiny holes here and there. That can easily be taken care of with Bondo again. But like I said, there's a few things I'm just going to have to work on in order to get it to shape up right, but hopefully it won't take me too long. And then, oops, sorry, my phone almost slipped. That's not good. But yeah, now as you can see right here, here's the hinge system. This is what I was able to put into the mask. And opening up, see, believe it or not, that is plastic weld, and plastic weld is probably one of the better glues, for lack of better wording, that you could possibly get that works with plastic, resin, and metal. They just bond a whole lot better. I have had great success with it. That JB plastic weld, or what they call plastic bond, whichever the other two you use, practically it sets in 5 minutes, but it dries completely in an hour. So yes, it is paintable within an hour. Now, if the humidity is kind of increased in your location and everything, probably it might take another 30 minutes, maybe an hour. But even after that, I mean, it works wonders. So it does very good for what it's meant for, and it holds on very strong, which is perfect for this mask. Now, the colors that we have that we're going to be using, we have the Krylon. Now you can use any kind of paints. You can use Krylon, you can use Rust-Oleum. I just would, whatever you're going to use, whatever the colors and everything, make sure it's consistent to the company logo, or otherwise you will be taking a chance of creating a chemical reaction that will actually either change the color of the paint, or could do something even worse, like dissolve what you're working on. So be careful when doing that. But as long as you stay consistent with the company logos, it's going to work out, because the company uses the chemicals that do not react towards each other. Like for example, if you're going to use a Krylon primer, or a Krylon paint, you're going to be using a Krylon primer. If you're going to use Rust-Oleum paint, then stick with a Rust-Oleum primer, because I can tell you right now, the effects are not worth losing whatever you're working on, or as far as the look and the color and everything. But anyhow, getting to the point, we got silver, we got black, gloss black, which is about a shiny black, and then we have our gray primer. The gray, I was hoping to find a black primer, but I couldn't, so gray will do. And what this gray will do, it is actually going to give us a darker foundation, which is great, if you want the whatever you're working on to look a little bit more grim-like, or probably even add a little bit more effect. So with that being said, yeah, this is what we're going to use. And the best part is, I got it with a 20% more per can pretty much buy here. So yeah, definitely worth it. Now, for the closing method on this mask, I managed to find this. Took a while. There were plenty of other methods, magnets, pretty much a door lock, but this one I think is going to be better. And practically this is what they use for drawers and cabinets, and it locks in like that and opens, when you pull on it. The only thing is, it's very tight. So to loosen it up, we're going to flatten this a little bit. so therefore it's a lot easier to do this number. We're going to make sure there's a little hump on it, of course, but basically the smaller the hump, the easier it is to open. So we just want the mask to be able to lock in position when it's time to wear it. And we'll have to do a fit test first and make sure there's going to be plenty of room in the mask, but if it passes, and we can definitely put this in there, which I'm hoping we can, it's going in. And this right here actually costed about $1. Yeah, you can't beat that. And it comes with 4 screws, but we're not going to need screws. Not for this one. And if it really needs to be really fitted in there, I got 2 of them. Again, you can't beat $1. So now, the only other problem is this piece right here does not have, basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a glue on the back of this. And the glue I've chosen is this, which should work. This is an epoxy glue. It sets in a minute, although on the back it says leave undisturbed for, or leave, you know, whatever on the blueprint. It's got 5 minutes on it. But practically, the faster this glue dries and holds strongly, the better it works. So in this case, we'll be using it for this because it's the only thing that tends to work with metal on metal, and probably metal, you know, as far as to get it to work like I want to. I would use the plastic bond since it works so well, but in this case, we're going to be using the Loctite on this one. We'll use the plastic bond on this one, but we just need something to hold on for this. Probably even put a few, you know, bolts and screws on it, because we just need something to hold on firmly enough inside the mask. Because I can tell you right now, you start pulling and pushing in and everything like that long enough, and wear and tear is going to show and pretty much be demonstrated as the mask starts falling apart. So we don't want that. But anyway, with that being said, this is what we're going to use for this one, because like I said, you won't be able to get to do what you want like that. No, it's got to be like this. But there's just unless I can just take a pair of pliers and twist it that way, but I'm afraid if I do that, I warp this part, which I don't know. We might try it just to see if we can. If it doesn't work, we'll abort that, part of the project, and we'll try something else. But if all else fails and that doesn't work, we'll go ahead and take this. Again, this one was $1. Again, can't beat it. But we'll take the Dremel tool, and we're going to go ahead and cut this part off right here on this part right here, and just like zzz. And then we will take this, use the Loctite glue this to that, and then that way it should actually help as far as closing it and locking into position. So yeah, that should definitely work. I can't see why it wouldn't. So another little thing I'm going to have to do before actually giving this to the requester, we're also going to pad it up a little bit. Believe it or not, foam sheets works wonders when it comes to trying to fit a helmet and everything. And the only problem with making a resin mask or helmet or anything that you're going to be wearing over your head, the liquid they use to make the resin, it's always going to have a jag in it, or probably some weird bubble effect, or whatever the case may be. And in this case, you kind of want to add some padding in there to kind of protect, trying to go ahead and give your head some relief, because the last thing you want to do is have your head right up against some part of that mask or helmet that has like a point on it, or a little bubble sticking out, and that gets on your nerves pretty quick. So this is going to help remedy that a lot. Each of these sheets costs about 33 cents depending upon where you go, and for what we're going to use it for, it's definitely going to be worth it. And we're going to definitely outline the all this inside with the in the mask and everything, so it should definitely work. Now, the last part of the process I was really kind of putting some really deep thought into it is the mesh that I was going to try to fill in the areas like right here and there and here, and also in this area too. So practically the areas that I've managed to create air vents. Now, I did some looking around, did some heavy searching. the material I would need, it has to be breathable, of course, because let me tell you something. If I were to use broadcloth, technically it's still breathable, but it's not easy breathable. You know, it has to be something that kind of, you know, it's easy to get oxygen in, you know, inside the mask, and also be able to, you know, get all the humidity out. So that's the one of the focuses of finding this mesh for the air vents. I did find something, however, and it's something I figured I was going to have to resort to, but nevertheless, believe it or not, the answer is the shirt. Yes, believe it or not, the answer lies within the shirt. This made of a special material right here, and this is almost like a jersey material, but it's actually better. Matter of fact, if you were to take something that's pointed or kind of like a knife edge, and you just did this number, it wouldn't tear or get, you know, pulled out of place or anything like that. It would still hold strong. This is something we need in order to outline those air vents. Now, unfortunately, however, as you can see, the logo right there is the Flash. Yeah, he's going to be losing a tiny little fan, unfortunately, because the only way to get this to work on the mask is to cut it off from the original material. And in this case, we will actually be cutting from the backside. Now, just a little heads up, this shirt, the reason why I resorted to this is because, first of all, if you go anywhere else to get this raw material, or as a raw material, it could easily cost you quite a bit. Okay, it normally does. But to get it as a shirt, and if it's been there for a while, definitely check the clearance sections, of course. And that's what I did. It only cost $5. You can't beat that, especially for what I'm going to try to do. So we got the material necessary to put in a breathable mesh in the air vents, which is really going to help. And all we got to do is we're going to use some hot glue to actually glue all the squares that I'll be making out of this and put it into the mask wherever the locations are going to be. So we'll just, you know, like I said, I'll hold the glue in place just long enough for it to cool down, and then therefore we will have a breathable mask. But we'll have to do that after we paint everything first. This is the reason why this has to be saved until the last part of the phase, which is to put in the lenses and put in the foam, the mesh, and the closing method for the mask. This is all part of it. But yeah, that's what's going on, and that's what I got planned. And with all that being said, if you liked, you know, what you saw in this video, definitely hit the like button if you would. If you'd like to go ahead and ask questions or leave a comment, definitely hit the comments. I will answer within a day or as fast as I can, and as soon. If you'd like to go ahead and keep up with any future projects or works, hit the subscribe button. I will definitely keep you busy, especially getting, you know, as I'm getting closer to getting this mask done. And that's pretty much covers it. So y'all have a good day, and see you soon.